Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my review of Money in the Bank 2025. First up on the card, Naomi defeated Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, Julia, Alexa Bliss and Stephanie Vaquer to become the new Miss Money in the Bank. And oh man, first thing is first, Naomi winning, well, this sucks a lot. You know, I cannot get my head around this whole Naomi is great shit that people say all the time. I feel like this whole new gimmick is about as laughable as the feeling the grow crap that she was doing a few months ago, last year, whenever she changed. I don't know, I don't care. But no, her promos are mid. The wrestling is very mediocre at best. Like, even on a good day, Naomi is only mediocre. And yeah, I don't really know or understand, like, out of everyone in the match, they chose her. You know, why not make a new star? No, we won't make a new star. You know, we won't make stars out of Julia or Roxanne Perez or Stephanie Vaquer. We won't even give another shot at a world title for Rhea Ripley or Alexa Bliss, which I'm aware people might not be a fan of when it comes to Rhea, but a lot of people had a big investment in Alexa Bliss as well. Personally, I don't. It feels like we're a very long way away from Alexa Bliss being anywhere near a world champion. But no, we're going to give Money in the Bank to the veteran of the match. The person who's been around WWE the longest in Naomi, which of course is the point of Money in the Bank, isn't it? No, it's not. The whole point of Money in the Bank is to take someone who's on the verge of the main event and get him to that point. And yeah, Naomi is nowhere near that at the minute. Or ever has been. Even when she was SmackDown Women's Champion, she wasn't quite ready to be SmackDown Women's Champion. And the run was crap. But even looking past my personal opinions of Naomi, I can't see where this works out as far as like a good thing in 2025. Like, I don't know, I can't see her being a good champion in this year or into next year, depending on when she cashes in. You know, I'm not going to say I'm hoping on a failed cash in, because that is really harsh, but like, I wouldn't hate it if it was. And I feel like with this Queen of the Ring thing coming up and Jade Cargill kind of being a big part of that they might play into that a little bit. But yeah, for me, nothing about Naomi being Miss Money in the Bank is appealing at all. But anyway, the match itself, it also felt like they were holding back in this one. There was no massive spots. There was some bad looking moves, but that was about it. You know, Alexa Bliss being dropped in the midsection on top of the ladder looked really bad. And Stephanie doing the Devil's Kiss to Rhea on the ladder, of course, seems bad because you're pretty much going face first into a ladder, but I feel like that was more for the comedic effect of, you know, the whole Booker T thing and it happening to Rhea and bums and stuff, I guess. But yeah, it kind of, overall as a match, it felt very disappointing. It felt like a far fetch from the last two Money in the Bank ladder matches we did after the women that were very, very good. You know, you look at Io Sky dropping Zoe Stark pretty much on her head onto a ladder, Chelsea Green taking the table spot, and a lot of stuff the year before that I simply can't remember right now in the moment. But yeah, as I said, it felt like this one was been massively held back for some reason. Maybe it's just a case of they didn't want to get anyone hurt during this match, so they kind of took I don't want to say a softer approach to it, but it just didn't feel like a full-on Money in the Bank ladder match here. And then you take the result of the match and it's just rubbish overall. And yeah, it was just a really disappointing match overall and a really bad way to start the event. After that, Dominic Mysterio defeated Octagon Jr. to retain the Intercontinental Championship, and luckily on this lousy card there was one saving grace, and that was Dominic Mysterio. He is the only guy to defend his championship on every pay-per-view since winning the title. You know, he won it at WrestleMania, he defended it successfully against Penta at Backlash, he defends it successfully here. He is the real GOAT. Forget Cena, he is the guy around here in WWE. And yeah, it was a pretty good match. This was a breath of fresh air after the dreary women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Respect to Octagon Jr., who like not only had the really decent match at Worlds Collide, but had a really good match here. He did double duty and kind of kept the high octane style of a pretty decent luchador throughout both matches, which was great to see. Dominic gets another pretty good defense in as well, which is really good. I think it's his third defense, I believe. He's defended it twice against Penta, and now against Octagon as well. Hopefully we get to see a bit more of a feud develop with Dominic for the Intercontinental Championship going into that Champions. But yeah, that's it overall. This was really good. Dom continues to show why he is the greatest luchador and the greatest Mysterio to ever be a champion. So yes, no complaints here from me. And yeah, thank God that my hero, Dominic Mysterio, is still the Intercontinental Champion. Following that, Becky Lynch defeated Lara Valkyria to become the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, and this was a great match. It's probably the second best match of the night in my opinion. I thought these two once again worked really well together. You can see the chemistry is really good between them both, but we kind of knew that anyway going into it. It wouldn't shock me if we went on to have a third match. Obviously, Lara Valkyria laying out Becky Lynch at the end of the match kind of suggested that was going to be the case, but this time I'd have a stipulation added where neither of them can get rolled up this time. You know, maybe have a ladder match, but I know they couldn't do a ladder match here because of the whole Money in the Bank thing, or last woman standing, or just a kind of match where you don't need pinfalls to happen, but you also don't need submissions, because please do not give us a submission match. That would suck a lot. But yeah, I think Becky winning is just a bit of a shame. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I would have preferred if Becky got the win here. She held the title for a month or just over or just under, and then Lyra reclaimed the title here instead. I feel like that would have made it a lot better. But yeah, it's just a case again of why are we not pushing the younger people on the roster, and instead we're coming out of an event where two of the most veteran women on the roster are now in big championship positions, and as well as other things which I will get to. But yeah, I say overall the match was brilliant, and you know, I can't be all bad about this pay-per-view because I said this match was very good. But it was just a shame about the winner in my opinion, and I said I'm interested to see what Becky does as champion, but I'm kind of hoping that Lyra takes it back from her pretty much immediately. After that, we had Seth Rollins defeat El Grande Americano, Andrade, LA Knight, Penta, and Solo Sikoa to win Money in the Bank, to become the new Mr. Money in the Bank, however you want to put it. And yeah, again, the veteran of the match wins it. No, actually, first, I'm going to talk about the match. The match was very, very good. This was 100% match of the night for me. I thought this was fantastic. This definitely felt like a proper Money in the Bank ladder match. The guys were throwing themselves around for this one. But then you've got like the last 10-15 minutes maybe where we saw Rollins' crew come out with Braun and Bronson coming out. We saw the Bloodline. It kind of had a Bloodline rules feel to it, to be fair. You know, we saw Reed and Breaker kind of take out everybody. El Grande Americano got speared to death. You know, I don't think we'll... It would kind of been funny if we never saw El Grande again because he got speared by Breaker. That'd be pretty funny, but I can't imagine they're going to do that. Then we saw... Pretty much Breaker and Reed took out everyone but Solo. They started to surround Solo, and that's when Jacob and JC came in. They kind of brawled for a bit. Breaker took out Bronson Reed. Breaker took out Mateo through the barricade. Fatu took out Reed with a Samoan drop, which looked insane. And then, yes, we thought that Solo was going to get helped to the win by Jacob Fatu, and then we saw the turn. Jacob Fatu tells Solo that he hates him. You know, the whole place goes as an uproar. I popped when that happened. And then after all that goes down and Fatu takes out Solo and puts him through a ladder, the dust settles, Rollins starts to climb, and I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. And then LA Knight gets involved, and I start cheering and getting excited again, and then LA Knight gets taken off the ladder. Seth Rollins wins the match. And yeah, it's just like, why? You know, my issue here is this is a very boring choice. And like, I know sometimes boring is just the best way because, you know, it makes the most sense storyline wise. But again, Rollins has to just ask for a title match, especially like the World Championships. 9 times out of 10 he gets it. And just as proof, he asked for a world title match only a few weeks ago, or what felt like a few weeks ago. Maybe it was about a month and a half ago. And he got it. He faced Jay in the main event of Raw, and it was a very good match. So, you know, it's already happened, the fact that Rollins can just ask for a title match and he'll get it. So why give him Money in the Bank? You know, also, no CM Punk showed up. What the fuck was that about? You know, unless they show on Raw that Rollins took out Punk before the Money in the Bank ladder match, before the Money in the Bank ladder match, then that doesn't make any sense either. And actually, I know that WWE won't do that because they never think that far ahead. And, you know, Punk has some serious issues with Rollins, so why would he not cost him Money in the Bank? I get that they did it last year with Drew McIntyre, but he cost him the cash-in. Why not have Punk cost Rollins the match itself? It constantly felt like when Rollins was climbing a ladder, especially when they got the Fireball ones, which was clearly going to be the ladder that they won the match with, that Punk was going to show up and cost him. And again, just nothing from Punk. But again, just like the women, why not make new stars out of this? You know, you've got Penta who's just coming in. LA Knight is just on the verge of being a main eventer and literally already should be. And even Solo's starting to get back into that place of relevancy again. And I'm not gonna lie, I've said on this channel before that I really don't like Solo. But you know what, the more I see him on SmackDown now and the more character he's showing as being a leader again, the more I'm actually starting to like Solo. So if he had won here, I actually wouldn't have been so against it. But yeah, I saw a post on X or Twitter, whatever you want to say, and it was like, once again, you know, getting yourself over doesn't work in WWE like it I think did a little bit. But then yeah, you look at LA Knight and you think there's nothing more this guy can do to become a main eventer, and he's still been held and stuck in the mid-card division when he should be, you know, challenging the likes of Jey Uso, challenging, you know, having matches with Damian Priest, being in big money matches. And yeah, he's just stuck. You know, I mean, the US title stuff is good because obviously Jake Fatu is the upper mid card and they say he's LA Knight. But yeah, it just felt like this would be the perfect opportunity to have LA Knight kind of become the main event star on SmackDown. And yeah, it just simply did not happen again. And I wouldn't have been so annoyed if they'd have pulled the trigger with LA Knight last year, because Drew McIntyre winning the Money in the Bank last year was stupid, and he didn't need to win it here. And I feel exactly how I did about Drew winning last year than I do about Rollins winning this year. And it was like, they don't need to win this match, whereas LA Knight does need that win. But no, it just completely... I know people have said in the past about how Money in the Bank is a dying trope, and that, like, you know, Triple H doesn't like Money in the Bank and all this kind of stuff. The issue is that if WWE booked it the way it was booked in the first place, when it made stars out of people with the likes of Edge, Damian Priest, Maurice, like, so yeah, that's the thing. Like, Edge obviously is the big example because he's cashed it in twice and he became an absolute legend, and he was arguably very good before that. But then you've got the likes of, more recently, Money in the Bank made Damian Priest a main eventer. Money in the Bank made Tiffany Stratton a main eventer. Money in the Bank made Io Sky a main eventer. But yet, for some reason, with the men, we keep giving it to people who are veterans, who don't need to win this opportunity for a world championship, because they can essentially just ask for one and they will get it. You know, the likes of Drew, the likes of Rollins, the likes of Brock Lesnar. You know, we don't need these people to win Money in the Bank, because there's no point in giving them that opportunity, because it was made for people who were on the verge of becoming the main eventer and just giving them that I'm getting all frustrated. I'm fucking going over my words. But what I'm saying is the fact that the Money in the Bank was made to make people on the verge of the main event scene get to that point. And yeah, it seems that that concept has seemed to have been forgotten by WWE. So I don't think Money in the Bank is a dead concept, because I love the matches and I love the idea of Money in the Bank, and I feel like everything about it works really, really well. But if you're going to keep giving it to veterans, then it's going to ruin the whole thing. And it does ruin the whole thing, because we are in situations now where nothing really makes sense with having the people that we do as Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. And finally, in the main event, we had Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeat John Cena and Logan Paul in a match that was, again, pretty much of a letdown. I mean, I wasn't expecting much out of this match going in, but this was very mediocre. I think Logan was the star of the match because of the moonsault he did from the ropes through the announce table. I thought it was very good, and he kind of did most of the work for his team in the match. I thought that the kind of breakup between Cena and Logan, where they were kind of fighting each other about stuff, I think worked really well, because of the egos of those two would just never work together. And yeah, it made sense that they kind of came to blows. It wasn't like a major come to blows, but like you could tell they were starting to argue a little bit, which gave Jey the opportunity to tag in Cody, and which then they realized they made a massive mistake. But yeah, it's just, as a match overall, it was just a tag team match. Like, it wasn't anything special. I'd say the only real big spot was Logan doing the moonsault from the ring to the announce table, and the spear from Jay to John, I believe. I think that was right. But other than that, that was about it. Like, as I said, it was very bang average. We saw the return of R-Truth, which, you know, you can sit on two sides of the fence on as far as the R-Truth movement. Personally, I couldn't give a shit whether he was in the company or not, because he doesn't affect the company at all and what happens on TV, and I can't see a lot of stuff coming from this return, I guess, of R-Truth. I mean, I can imagine Cena might beat the shit out of him, and that's about it. If people want to believe that it was a work and, you know, they didn't really fire Truth and, you know, it was all under control essentially the whole time, that's fine. If you want to believe that the fans brought Truth back, if that's going to make you sleep better at night, that's fine as well. Either way, I really don't care that much. Like, I don't see the point in having Truth around, so it kind of made sense to me that he got let go. I assumed that he was going to see his contract out and then sign a Legends deal and then show up kind of from time to time, which is a lot better and a better position for him to be in. But yeah, I mean, fair enough, people want him back, that's fine. Personally, I just have no care for it. And yeah, the match itself was, again, mediocre, but I expected nothing less. There was rumors going around about The Rock showing up, and then he didn't, which again, it's just like, okay, with this, especially with the tag match going on last, it's very easy to fall into the case of something is going to happen here. And yeah, again, we get a tag team match just like it. Actually, this is worse than Bad Blood, because at least at Bad Blood, The Rock came out for no reason. For this one, it was just like, this only went on last because it was the people involved, when realistically, the men's Money in the Bank should have gone on last. And yeah, again, it was just a case of another pay-per-view ending in a tag team match that involved all the really important characters of a story. So again, with Bad Blood, you saw Roman and Cody and Solo and Jacob, and this one is obviously Cena and Cody and Jay. And yeah, again, nothing comes of it, nothing gets progressed storyline wise. I assume we'll get something on Monday with Jay versus Gunther. It wouldn't shock me if Rollins tries to cash in there and maybe even did a successful cash in. But yeah, again, it was just like a mediocre tag match to finish off one of the big four pay-per-views. Big five pay-per-views, and it just left a sour taste in my mouth, and it was just rubbish. So those are my thoughts and opinions on Money in the Bank 2025, and for me, this wasn't very good. It was really crap, to be fair. Results-wise, it was just boring and just doesn't make any sense, and I've ranted enough about, you know, the Money in the Bank ladder matches and the winners. As far as Money in the Bank matches go, the men's was a lot better than the women's, and I mean leaps and bounds better than the women's match. The women's was very disappointing, as I said. The men's was great, and as I said, it was definitely match of the night for me, but again, both winners just make absolutely zero sense in my opinion. Becky and Lyra, again, very good match, just a shame about the winner. I think Dominic, to be fair, was the only match with the result that kind of made me happy anyway. You know, whenever it's in doubt, you know, we can rely on Dom at least to give us a good match and a good result. But yeah, the main event is just what it was. You know, the main event I have absolutely zero opinion on, because I mean, I don't have an opinion on it. I have zero feeling towards it, because it was just a babyface win, you know, after an average tag match. You know, it wouldn't have gone amiss being the main event of Raw, but you know but the people involved made it the main event of Money in the Bank. And yeah, to be fair, the men's Money in the Bank definitely should have gone on last, but you know, it is what it is, and hindsight is 2020, I guess. But yeah, do put down in the comments below your thoughts on Money in the Bank, what you thought of the winners. Do you like the winners? Do you dislike the winners? Do put why. We can have a good discussion about it. I promise I won't be as much of a dickhead in the comments as I have been during this video, or at least I'll try not to be. But yeah, so do like the video if you enjoyed it. I am sorry I ranted so much about it, but it's how I truly feel about it, to be fair. But yes, do like the video if you enjoyed it. Do subscribe. I am trying to get to 1,000 subs before SummerSlam. I'm about like 740 something at the minute, so yeah, do stick around. There's a lot of good content coming. I've got a few wrestling revisits. I'm watching SummerSlam 2005, I've watched Evolution from 2018, and I've watched NXT TakeOver New Orleans, so those are all coming up. as well as coverage of all pay-per-views. Obviously, Night of Champions is coming up on the channel now that I posted yesterday, was the tournament I'd like to see for the King and Queen of the Rings. So go check that one out, and do let me know in the comments who you've got for King and Queen of the Ring this year as well. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.